Okay, in this video I want to talk about practice number 3. Quickly, finish it up. It's a fast one. It's basically just trying to buy and sell stocks, but first acquiring as much information as you can. So I felt I had to include this as a method, and it's just sort of the maybe the better name for it would be practice number 3, full research or heavy-duty research or research the stock or whatever, because that's basically what it is. Of course, you're going to look for the graph when you're researching it. You're going to look for a whole lot of other things too, and you may put in the time to try to learn how to read a financial statement and how to go to NASDAQ and or the SEC.org .gov and look at all the filings and learn how to read those and look for inconsistencies, look at the debt levels, that sort of thing. It's going to take a lot of time, but it's comprehensive, and it's a very careful activity, but there are some things underneath it all that are going to undercut it somewhat. Okay, first of all, as you see here, what do you do when you have conflicting authorities? So you go to one website, and because you can get the data, the raw data from NASDAQ, from SEC.gov, the Securities Exchange Commission, and you can look at what they're filing, but how are you going to interpret this? So you may go to a certain website here, a certain website there, some more esteemed than others, and you may try to see what they're saying about the stock and all that, but there's a problem in all of this, okay? That whatever article you're reading has been written by someone, and the question is, that someone does this someone that's talking about stock X, does he or she have shares in this stock? Okay, is there a vested interest to make the stock look good? So some authors take it upon themselves to say at the bottom, I have no shares in this, but you have to go by that. You have to believe that statement, because as soon as you stop believing those sorts of statements, then why read anything? If they're going to lie that blatantly, which sometimes they do, that's the problem. But for the most part, I hope that the majority of them aren't being so flagrant with their lies, or the word is so brazen with their lies. We hope that the majority of them are not that way. So, it does help when you see a tag that says, this author, the author of this article, has no shares in this stock, which makes you wonder why all the articles that you read that don't have that qualifier at the bottom, why they don't have it. Okay, so and how about ratings? I've heard on the information that I've tried to learn this year of people working at top-level national rating companies that will rate a stock a certain way because the vice CEO or the vice president or whatnot, the co-president of a company or the chief of fixed income has a son that's going to has connections to a certain school, and all of a sudden the rater's son gets accepted to that school, and all sorts of things. It's crazy what could be happening. But even if it's all honest, okay, even if it is all honest, which it isn't all, not everything out there is honest like that. So there is false data there. But even if we assume it's all honest, you do run across the idea of conflicting authorities, and then what do? One says buy it, other says sell it, another one says hold. So they all look good. The websites are all fairly esteemed. Eventually, it may backfire on you like that. The other thing is, what about the time it takes to research this? Because there are so many companies out there, okay, that are trading publicly. How do you pick which ones to research, and how much time are you willing to invest in this? Because you need to be always aware of the obsession this could become, the constant focus, the constant pulling away of other duties you need to carry out as a created human being. So when people sense that you need to do your research, you need to know it, but trying to make money that way, is it right then to give up 3 hours of every day for this? It's a decision you have to make, because it can get to that point where you feel like you have to research so much that because the more you look, the more questions you have. Some get answered, but for every one that gets answered, it seems like two or three pop up. If you're carefully trying to think about it, at least that's been my experience. And at one point, were you called to do this? See, the thing, I guess that's a good way to put it. If you're really going to research it to the level it needs to go to, so that you know what you're doing with your money here, all right, it's going to take on the work of a calling. And the question you should answer is, are you called to do this? And if you feel like you're not, then is the amount of time you're spending in this justifiable, able to be justified? So it's something to think about. And you feel like you can't say you shouldn't research it, but as with all things, when is enough? I mean, the ability to recognize when enough research is enough is very hard to get just by researching it. That seems to be a higher skill that once you get that skill, you use it to guide you in the research, and you can't get that skill from the research. So the notion of being smart versus being wise seems to raise its head here. And the wisdom being, when are you overdoing this? When are you letting this cause you to deviate from your real purpose of existence? Well, I think I have overplayed it a bit. It doesn't have to be that much, but it can be. So something tells me that our hearts reverberate with loving money. All right. And if we're not careful with that empathy, that can get out of control. Not empathy, but that resonance, desire perhaps. And the way that it happens is that you start researching for 20 minutes one day, then 30 minutes the next. You get on a roll. You think you're figuring it out. Pretty soon you're spending 2 hours a day on it. And can you do that? So I think that would be the big question for this one. The other thing is, I'm going on with this one, but I want you to consider this, okay? What do you do when you find out that Winston Churchill, a great mind of politics and a decent mind for economics, because he led England, I believe, through its decision to stay anchored to gold, I believe. I think he tied the economy down to... No, he wanted to tie it to gold, but someone talked him out of it. Oh, no, I'm sorry. He wanted to let the economy of England stray away from the gold standard, but someone talked him into keeping the gold standard, and he admitted later it was a horrible decision. He should have kept to his instincts. And so he was the... Before he became the man he was who led England through the wars, he was in charge of England's economy, basically, for a couple of years. He lost 80% of his money in stocks. What about Keynes, all right? John Maynard Keynes. He was wiped out also. I mean, he's the one that... developed many theories, many modern theories of financial management, and he went and he played the stock market. And at one point, he lost. No, I think Churchill lost everything. I think Keynes at one point lost 80%, and then he tried to claw his way back into a substantial portfolio. But here's someone that, are you John Maynard Keynes? Yet he goes and he loses 80% of his portfolio in stocks. It's pretty fascinating, something to think about.